Hello everyone, welcome to your daily card reading for July 15th, 2014. And I'll draw one Gillian Kemp and 4 chicken cards unless I have to draw more. Okay, so we have communication, the orange tree. And it says, "You will receive the unconditional bounties of heaven by following your heart." So, sounds like more our initiation of a conversation, or if someone comes to us to always come from your heart with that communication. And that's Jung agreeing. He represents the fool, which is like to jump into things. He's the adventurer, and he also means the ace, like the number one. So, okay, we have Amida and Sasquatch. And Little Red Amore. And tie tip. So, okay, Amida is, forgiveness or protection. She's been coming up a lot lately. So, really to detach from drama. Number one, and seek clarity, have communication. A lot of times, communication will clear up misunderstandings, and if you need to, say goodbye to someone in your life, you still need to have a communication. So you need to find out, what's going on there and where the other person stands. Or if you're unable to work things out, sometimes that's unfortunate, but you just have to accept where a person's at, and know your needs and their ability to meet you in agreement on a soul contract, on a connection where the relationship is balanced and there's no drain on you. And if there is a drain on you, it's like you just have to realize if it's worth it or not, and see if you can correct it, and if not, then you have to accept the situation and do what you need to do for yourself and for the people around you. But because we have it combined with communication, there might be some clarity that we need to look for in our understanding of whether we need to protect ourselves and move away from this person, or whether we need to forgive them and understand that they just can't fulfill our your agreement or your contract with them on a soul level. And allow people to be who they are. Or maybe sometimes it's just a important conversation to clear things up and find some understanding. So again, you always want to come from your heart and see what's going on in the mind of the other, because you'll find out when you put your heart out there, you'll find out. So anyway, Sasquatch is the next one, and he has to do with people who are shut down because they're not within a belief system of others. They are marginalized from society because they have kind of these things about them that shake the reality of others, or it's just something. A lot of times people just can't understand the reality of a Sasquatch. They can't contemplate it. They can't understand it. So again, that goes into the acceptance. Sometimes it's something they can't do, is to acknowledge your life experience, to acknowledge your state of being. I know often people are denied their reality because people just can't. They don't know what to do with it. They don't have the tools or the skills to relate to it, So, and sometimes it's just about creating a little distance so that doesn't hurt, but you are not continually having to explain yourself or prove yourself or something. I find when people go through something in their life, a lot of times a person's problems will kind of pretty much affect everybody, where everybody's commenting and everyone's, wanting to get involved or step in and help you live your life. And, a lot of times they don't know the circumstance, they can't accept the circumstance, and they can't understand it. They don't believe it because it's not something that they've ever experienced. So, in those situations, it's like, all you can do is explain yourself, and, if someone can't be there for you, then you need to create that distance where they're in a comfortable position and you're in a comfortable position where you can put your time and energy towards what you need for your life, rather than, catering towards somebody else's psychology that's trying to get a grip on your life that they might not be able to ever get a grip on, or maybe in time they get a grip on it, but maybe this is not, something that they can be a part of when you go through things. It's, I've story of my life, things always hit the fan, and there are people who stand by me, there's people who take a peripheral position, and then there's people who go against you, so it's like, everyone can take their place, and that's okay. Just, you got to do what you got to do, and let everyone, have their comfort and have their position, and you stay strong in your position and your life experience. So, and like I said many times, people come back. A lot of people come back. So, even if you take space, they might come back and say what they need to say, understand what they need to understand, be able to relate to you in the way that they need to relate. So, Amida, traditionally this card is like fighting, struggle, drama. But this is like, things are what they are, people are who they are. How do we just take our easy divides, like, okay, this is who I am and what I stand for, this is who you are, what you stand for, be clear. We have the communication here. We got to figure out everyone's positions and then make our decisions on, do we move on together, or do you stay in your lesson learning with this group of people, because maybe they need to stay and learn some more stuff they don't understand yet. So, okay, on this side is quite a contrast, actually, these two sides, because this side is like really positive things coming to you, changing life on an individual level, like your whole life path kind of shifts or grows or changes or adds a dimension. And then that's with Little Red Amore. Something enters into your life where it just totally like embraces your life, and you embrace whatever this is, and things really dramatically change in a very good way, even if you're like, whoa, at first with my chickens, I kind of had postpartum depression. I was like, oh my God, I didn't mean to get into chickens, but then it was like, I was responsible, and I did love them, and and I embraced it, and it's the best thing. I mean, I would not be where I am or been able to have the experiences I had without my chickens. I mean, my chickens are everything, and I've merged them with my life. So something that really kind of either adds to your life or kind of slightly almost changes the chemistry of your life. That's what I would say. Something that's going to change the chemistry of your life path. And then we have Tai Tip, who represents institutions or places where lots of beautiful things get developed for influencing masses of people or groups of people. So this is, a center that creates programs or learning experiences or arts or philosophies or some place that is able to generate something that really has a positive influence. It's like, the creative minds are able to come together and interact with each other and develop something to put out there for everyone's benefit. So these two cards are really like fruitful and abundant, So in terms of communication on that side, I don't know. I mean, that I would say that Little Red Amore, having something change your life like that. I mean, maybe I guess you could say the universe could communicate to you that way, but it's not so much a communication. Maybe you want to communicate about that, about something that has changed you, and that is a way to communicate. But in terms of Tai Tip, there might be just communications involving, whatever this program is, or whatever this new stuff is, to put stuff out there for the masses, for other people, for groups. So looking at all this together, it really looks like it really looks like a spiritual growth period, where there's a little bit of letting go, a little bit, whatever this conflict is. It's paired with something that really needs to exist in its own right. So if something comes into the space of this person who has a right to exist and is trying to stop the existence of this person, then you can communicate, see if it's in or out, But the Sasquatch has to exist. And Amida is about having that unconditional love and accepting people who they are for who they are and their limitations, and also loving yourself enough to keep yourself safe and have your own boundaries, and maybe working things out where if there's confusion whether someone is your friend or not your friend, then you want to figure that out. But it's always okay, because even whatever the clash of the ego, the clash of the cultural beliefs, the clash of the superficial doesn't matter. You always have that bond of love, and that will continue, and that's the unconditional. So and then on this side we just have really strong things. It's almost like this needs to happen, communication here, and then with this happening, it's a new form of communication. So this is like communication on a important, life path, passionate level, informational level, something. This is really positive, just kind of sharing of. You want to share on this side, and this side it's like communication is to really to allow the existence, to allow the truth of yourself and of other people, and negotiate relationships, where are you with me, are you not, do we take our space, do we go different ways, like where are we at, so and then again the middle says, you will receive the unconditional bounties of heaven by following your heart. Now that I read this again, it really just that is what I just was talking. I mean, this is about being true to your own heart and your own life, and being true to all of this over here. And then the way you approach it is being true to your own heart and honoring your own heart in respect of other people and where their heart is at, but still, you know, keeping the respect and keeping the unconditional love where it's okay if people need to leave our lives, you know. Thank them for the journey so far. Maybe they'll be back, maybe they won't. Maybe, I mean, you'll always stay connected anyway through the laws of nature. They're in your mind, they're in your heart forever. So, you know, these conversations really have to be done through the heart, especially when you're leaving somebody, and it could just be like, okay, you don't hear me, and I can't do this anymore. I wish you well, you know. But if you leave in a fight, it's not over. You really have to leave in a peaceful state of love, because otherwise you don't have that closure, and you don't have that true split where there's going to continue to be an anger or a communication going on in your mind and in your heart when you don't see this person. So it's better to, you know, when you're having a conversation, to work it out in that conversation where it's a conversation from your heart, and whatever is decided, it is, you know, with the blessings of love, and that each of you knows that, and that closure is able to happen. So anyway, I hope everyone got what they needed out of this today, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks a lot.